The 5 a.m. Club, by Robin Sharma. Introduction. Imagine a life that feels like it's slipping through your fingers. A young entrepreneur, once celebrated as a titan in her industry, now finds herself alone in an all-white bedroom. The company she poured her life into, the one she built from a college dorm room, is being ripped away from her in a cruel, jealousy-fueled coup. The world that once sang her praises now feels cold and silent. A gun would be too violent. A noose, too ancient. A knife, too silent. She considers a bottle of sleeping pills. A quick, clean end to an unbearable pain. Life, it seems, has betrayed her. But then, her eyes land on something on her dresser. A ticket to a conference. A last-ditch gift from her mother. She'd always scoffed at these events, at the so-called gurus promising answers that she believed were already inside us. But now, standing at the edge, she has only two options left: go to the seminar and find a breakthrough that saves her life, or find her peace in a quick, quiet death. What happens next is a story so bizarre, so magical, that it feels like a modern-day fable. It's a story that forms the heart of Robin Sharma's global phenomenon, the 5 a.m. Club. This isn't just a book, it's a movement. It has sold over 15 million copies worldwide and has been embraced by legendary entrepreneurs, sports superstars, and even royalty for one simple reason: it contains a formula. A formula for owning your morning to elevate your life. Robin Sharma, a globally respected humanitarian and leadership expert, spent 4 years crafting this book, and it's filled with the very methods he's taught to the world's top performers for over 2 decades. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this exclusive club. By the end of our journey, you won't just understand the secret habit that separates the good from the great, you will have a complete, step-by-step blueprint to reclaim your mornings, revolutionize your focus, and unlock the hero that's been lying dormant within you. This isn't just about waking up early, it's about waking up to your life. So, let's begin. Book summary. Our story starts where we left off, with the entrepreneur walking into that conference hall, a final, desperate gamble. She's not there for business tips, she's there for a lifeline. In the audience, she finds herself seated next to a man who couldn't be more different from her. He's an artist, with Bob Marley dreadlocks and tattoos rolling down his arms. He's brimming with creative ideas but is constantly sabotaged by his own inner demons. He's good, but he knows he could be great. They are two strangers, bound by a quiet sense of frustration, the feeling that the life they deserved was just out of reach. On stage is a man known only as the Spellbinder. He's a legend, a grandmaster of inspiration now in his 80s. He speaks not of small tweaks, but of legendary work. He tells the stadium-sized crowd, life's too short to play small with your talents. You were born into the opportunity as well as the responsibility to become legendary. He talks about a world full of cyber zombies, people endlessly attracted to digital devices, living the same week a few thousand times and calling it a life. He says that too many of us die at 30 and are buried at 80. His words are a wake-up call, a plea to stop chasing trivial things and to start building a life that matters. The entrepreneur and the artist are captivated. The Spellbinder isn't just a speaker, he's a force of nature. But just as he's delivering his most powerful message, a secret about the one habit that underpins all success, he begins to cough violently. He crumples to the floor, and the event descends into chaos. As the crowd disperses, confused and worried, the entrepreneur and the artist remain in their seats, processing what just happened. Suddenly, a voice from a few rows behind them cuts through the noise. "Hi, guys." They turn to see a homeless man. His hair is a tangled mess, his face unshaven, his clothes tattered and stained. He shuffles over and sits next to them. "Did you guys like the seminar?" he asks, picking at a scab on his wrist. The entrepreneur is cold, dismissive. This is the last thing she needs. The artist, a little more compassionate, engages with him. The homeless man speaks with an odd authority, using surfer slang and spouting deep wisdom. He claims that he made his fortune thanks to the teachings of the Spellbinder. The entrepreneur whispers to the artist, "Total crackpot. If he's got a fortune, I'm Mother Teresa." But then the artist notices something. On the homeless man's wrist is a massive, luxurious timepiece, the kind you see on billionaire hedge fund managers. It's worth $100,000, easily. The homeless man, whose name we later learn is Stone Riley, continues his bizarre discourse. He talks about business philosophy, the psychology of genius, and neuroscience, all while acting like a complete eccentric. He's a walking contradiction. He seems insane, but his eyes reveal the confidence of a lion. He tells them, "The rich invest in time. The poor invest in money. So I can't hang with you humans too long. Got a meeting with a jet and a runway." This is the moment everything changes. Stone Riley, the billionaire in disguise, makes them an offer that sounds completely insane. He invites them to his private oceanside compound in Mauritius to teach them everything he knows. He promises to show them the exact morning routine that allowed him to build his empire, a method he calls the 5 a.m. Club. He'll fly them there on his private jet. He'll cover all expenses. All he asks is that they come with an open mind and a willingness to change. The entrepreneur and the artist are stunned. This could be a trap. It could be dangerous. The man is a complete enigma. But something in their gut, a quiet instinct, tells them this is the opportunity they've been waiting for. The entrepreneur, remembering her desperation, thinks, maybe life has been breaking me down so I can make some sort of a breakthrough. She decides to take the leap. The artist agrees. They promise to meet him the next morning, outside the conference center. The time? 5 a.m. sharp. As he disappears, the homeless man leaves them with a final, echoing mantra: own your morning. Elevate your life. The next morning, at 4:49 a.m., the entrepreneur and the artist are standing on the desolate sidewalk, full of regret. "This was a terrible idea," the artist says. "He won't show up." The hope from the day before has evaporated, replaced by skepticism. But then, a pair of powerful halogen headlights pierces the darkness. A gleaming Rolls-Royce pulls up to the curb. A chauffeur in a crisp white uniform steps out. "Mr. Riley," he explains, dresses in unassuming attire when he feels the need to get gritty. He does things to ensure his modesty and humility remain in check. He then reveals the truth. The man they knew as the homeless derelict is one of the wealthiest people in the world. Their journey has truly begun. They are flown to Mauritius on a private jet with 5AC painted on the tail, for the 5 a.m. Club. The island is a paradise, a place of staggering beauty and tranquility. They are taken to Mr. Riley's stunning, yet understated, beachfront home. There, standing on the milk-colored sand, is a tall, bronzed figure. It's the Spellbinder. He's alive and well. He explains that he's been Mr. Riley's private mentor for years. The collapse on stage was due to sheer exhaustion. He tells them they are in for the adventure of a lifetime. The real teacher, however, will be Mr. Riley himself, who is about to pay forward the lessons he learned. The Spellbinder's final instruction for the day is simple: be here on the beach tomorrow morning. Your training will begin then. The time? 5 a.m. This is where the core teachings of the 5 a.m. Club begin to unfold. The next morning, a vibrant, clean-shaven, and incredibly fit Stone Riley bounds down to the beach. The homeless man persona is gone, replaced by a charismatic, if still very eccentric, billionaire. He introduces them to the foundational philosophy of his success. It's not just about waking up early. It's about what you do with that first hour. He calls it the victory hour, a sacred time from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., free from all distraction, where you fortify your mind, body, and spirit for the day ahead. He starts with a simple but profound model, the 3-step success formula. He explains that all great achievement follows a pattern. Step 1 is better awareness. You can't improve what you're not aware of. When you learn new ideas, like the ones in this book, your perception of what's possible expands. Step 2 is better choices. With better awareness, you naturally start making better choices. You choose to get up at 5 a.m. instead of hitting snooze. You choose to exercise instead of checking your phone. Step 3 is better results. And better choices, made consistently, inevitably lead to better results. Your income grows, your impact expands, and your life becomes richer. He tells them that most people live in a state of superficiality. They have a shallow understanding of their potential and live on autopilot. The key to legendary results, he says, is to move from superficiality to granularity. It's about a deep, rigorous, almost obsessive attention to detail. It's about caring so much about your work that you sweat the small stuff, because you know that small things, done consistently, lead to mastery. He then introduces them to the next key framework, the 4 focuses of history makers. These are the 4 areas that the world's greatest achievers concentrate on. The first focus is capitalization IQ. Mr. Riley explains that greatness isn't about how much natural talent you're born with, it's about how much of that talent you actually use or capitalize on. Many of the world's finest athletes had less natural skill than their competitors, but their dedication and drive to maximize what they had made them iconic. This is where the 5 a.m. club becomes your secret weapon. That victory hour is your daily window to cultivate your assets. The second focus is freedom from distraction. This is a war you have to win. An addiction to distraction, Mr. Riley says, is the death of your creative production. In our modern world, our attention is the most valuable currency we have. Technology, notifications, and constant interruptions create what neuroscientists call attention residue. Every time you switch tasks, you leave a piece of your focus behind. By the end of the day, your cognitive bandwidth is depleted. The 5 a.m. hour, however, is a time of perfect quietude. It's a sanctuary where you can enter a state of flow, that magical zone where you do your best work, where ideas come to you, and where you feel completely absorbed in your craft. The third focus is personal mastery practice. The quality of your morning practice determines the caliber of your daily performance. He explains that you must work on yourself even more than you work on your job. This involves upgrading what he calls your 4 interior empires. 1. Your mindset, your psychology. This is about thinking positive, optimistic thoughts. But this is only 25% of the equation. 2. Your heart set, your emotionality. You can't produce amazing work if your heart is full of anger, sadness, or fear. You must process and release past hurts. Your emotional life has to be clean. 3. Your health set, your physicality. Longevity is the key to legendary. You can't change the world if you're sick or dead. Optimizing your health is a non-negotiable. 4. Your soul set, your spirituality. This isn't about religion. It's about connecting to your highest self, your truest values, and your life's purpose in the quiet of the morning. The fourth and final focus is day stacking. This is one of the most practical and powerful ideas in the entire book. Mr. Riley explains that your days are your life in miniature. As you live each day, So you craft your life. The secret to a gorgeous life is to focus on creating a series of gorgeous days. Small, daily, seemingly insignificant improvements, when done consistently over time, yield staggering results. A 1% improvement each day leads to a 365% improvement in a year. Don't worry about the whole year, just focus on winning today. Stack great days, one on top of the other, and you will build a spectacular life. Now, the story takes another turn. Mr. Riley tells them it's time for the next lesson and whisks them away to Agra, India, to stand before the breathtaking Taj Mahal. He uses this wonder of the world as a metaphor for patience and grit. It took over 20,000 workers 22 years to build it. Mastery, he explains, isn't an event, it's a process. It is here, in the shadow of this monument to dedication, that he reveals the habit installation protocol. He explains that installing any new habit, especially a keystone habit like rising at 5 a.m., takes approximately 66 days. This process is broken into 3 stages, each lasting 22 days. Stage 1 is destruction. This is the hardest part. You are literally destroying old neural pathways and old ways of being. Your brain fights back. It will feel uncomfortable, like torture even. You'll want to quit. This is normal. The key is to push through. Stage 2 is installation. This is the messy middle. You're in unfamiliar territory. Your brain is building new circuitry. You'll feel confused and frustrated. The old you is dying so the new you can be born. It might feel like everything is falling apart, but in reality, everything is coming together. You must stay with it. Stage 3 is integration. This is the gorgeous end. The habit is now becoming your new normal. It's integrating at a psychological, emotional, and physical level. You're nearing what he calls the automaticity point, the moment where it's actually easier to get up at 5 a.m. than it is to sleep in. The willpower you needed before is now freed up for your next great habit. This 66-day framework is the practical key to making the 5 a.m. club a lifelong routine, not just a temporary experiment. From India, the adventure continues to the historic streets of Rome. Standing atop the Spanish Steps at 5 a.m., the billionaire finally unveils the centerpiece of the entire system, the 20/20/20 formula. This is the exact blueprint for what to do during your victory hour, from 5 o'clock to 6 a.m. It's divided into 3 20-minute pockets. Pocket 1 5 o'clock to 5:20 a.m. is for move. This means intense, sweaty exercise. As soon as you wake up, for 20 minutes, you need to move. This is non-negotiable. Why? Because of the science. First, exercise flushes out cortisol, the hormone of fear and stress, which is highest in the morning. Second, it releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is like Miracle-Gro for your brain. It repairs brain cells and accelerates learning. Third, it releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of drive, and serotonin, the chemical of happiness. So, by 5:20 a.m., while everyone else is still asleep, your brain is already fired up, focused, and feeling fantastic. Pocket 2 5:20 to 5:40 a.m. is for reflect. This is your time for stillness and silence. This is where you work on your heart set and soul set. For these 20 minutes, you can meditate, pray, or write in a journal. Journaling is incredibly powerful. It allows you to process your emotions, clarify your thoughts, and set your intentions for the day. It's a way to clean out the clutter from your mind and heart before the day begins. This period of quiet contemplation boosts your self-awareness and reconnects you with your core values. Pocket 3 5:40 to 6 a.m. is for grow. This is your time to learn. For the final 20 minutes of your victory hour, you must educate yourself. Read a book, listen to a podcast, take an online course. The leader who learns the most wins. This is where you invest in your professional capability and your personal mastery. By 6 a.m., you've already worked on your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. You've prepared yourself to win the day. This 20/20/20 formula is the engine of the 5 a.m. Club. It's the practical, how-to method that transforms the idea of waking up early into a life-changing ritual. But the journey isn't over. From Rome, they fly to the vineyards of South Africa. Here, Mr. Riley teaches them about the twin cycles of elite performance. He explains that peak performance isn't a linear game. You can't just work harder and longer and expect better results. That leads to burnout. Instead, the greatest achievers operate in cycles, like a heartbeat. They oscillate between what he calls a high excellence cycle HEC and a deep refueling cycle DRC. The HEC is a period of intense, focused work. But just as important is the DRC, a period of rest, recovery, and fun. Growth, he explains, doesn't happen during the performance, it happens during the rest. Just like a muscle grows not when you're lifting the weight, but when you're resting afterward. You must balance world-class work with deep renewal. Having fun, taking vacations, and spending time in nature aren't luxuries, they are necessities for sustained genius. The final lesson, and the emotional climax of their journey, takes place on Robben Island, the desolate prison where Nelson Mandela was held for 18 of his 27 years of incarceration. The pilot of their helicopter is none other than the Spellbinder. Standing inside Mandela's tiny cell, they learn about his immense suffering, but more importantly, about his incredible capacity for forgiveness and his unwavering commitment to his ideals. Mandela's story becomes the ultimate lesson in heroism. The Spellbinder reveals the final framework, the 7 virtues of world changers. These are the qualities that every one of us must aspire to: bravery, forgiveness, integrity, understanding, sincerity, politeness, and humility. He tells them that everyone has their own Robben Island, a private jail of fear, self-doubt, and past hurts that keeps them from their greatness. To become a hero of your own life, you must break free. You must turn your pain into power, your wounds into wisdom, and your trials into triumph. To lead, the Spellbinder says, is to be a force for good on this tiny planet. The story concludes with an epilogue, 5 years later. Stone Riley has peacefully passed away, having given his entire fortune to charity. The entrepreneur has grown her company into an iconic enterprise and is now happily married to the artist. The artist has become one of the most celebrated painters of his generation, having finally conquered his inner demons. And they have a son, a little boy named Stone. They are still, and will always be, members of the 5 a.m. Club. Commentary. So, what do we take away from this incredible story? At its heart, the 5 a.m. Club is a powerful reminder that the lives we admire are not the result of luck or overnight success. They are the product of small, daily disciplines, practiced with relentless consistency over time. The book's central message is that the first hour of your day is the rudder that steers the rest of your life. If you can win that first hour, you can win the day. And if you can win your days, you can craft a legendary life. What I find most profound about Robin Sharma's approach is its holistic nature. It's not just about productivity hacks and business strategies. It's about building a complete human being. The 4 interior empires, mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set, provide a beautiful and balanced blueprint for personal growth. In a world that constantly pulls us outward, toward more achievement, more possessions, and more validation, this book calls us inward. It reminds us that our outer world is always a reflection of our inner world. To build an empire on the outside, you must first cultivate the empires within. The story format makes these lessons incredibly accessible and memorable. You're not just reading a list of rules, you're on a journey with characters you come to care about. You feel the entrepreneur's despair, the artist's frustration, and the billionaire's eccentric joy. It's a fable for our times, a story that feels both magical and deeply practical. If there's one thing to start with today, let it not be overwhelming. You don't have to implement everything at once. The book itself is about small, incremental wins. So, here's a simple challenge. First, just for tomorrow, set your alarm 20 minutes earlier than you normally would. Not a full hour, just 20 minutes. Second, when you wake up, don't look at your phone. Instead, spend those 20 minutes doing just one thing from the 20/20/20 formula. Maybe you go for a brisk walk. Maybe you sit in silence and just breathe. Or maybe you read a few pages of a good book. Just one thing. And third, tonight, put your phone in another room before you go to sleep. Give your brain the gift of rest, free from the blue light that disrupts your sleep. These small steps, as the book teaches us, are the beginning of a revolution. They are the first threads you pull to unravel a life of mediocrity and weave a new one of mastery. That was a summary of the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. We've journeyed through the core ideas today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary can only take you so far. It can give you the map, but it can't give you the feeling of the journey itself. The real magic happens in the quiet moments when you're reading the book, and a particular story or a simple phrase connects with you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is here to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today has lit a spark in you, then I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see yourself and the world, starting with the very next sunrise. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Your support helps us continue to share these powerful ideas. Let's keep growing together.